Rocking with Patricia hoodie today.
Patricia. Not if he gets fired this year. Hey! There he is. What's up?
Is that from Star Wars?
No, it's just a normal thing.
I know it's a stormtrooper. It's one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The big
Alright, sound good? I sound good?
Play some Fortnite.
Alright.
Go ahead. I'll go upstairs. Yep.
Alright, yo! What it do, GG Nation, GG Legion, Capella against Grouse-Man, the JJ and I decided to have an impromptu podcast today. We're on Golden God and Friends episode 400 billion plus 65 million divided by 2. Episode 38, as you guys can see on screen. We're going to talk about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Jedi Order as you see the snow in Green Bay and where JJ's at here. I'm in Florida. It's been pretty damn gloomy a lot lately. It's been getting colder, which is nice. About damn time. But we're going to discuss Star Wars, not only just Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, we're going to discuss Microsoft XO19 highlights. JJ and I didn't actually watch the show, but the stuff we're going to talk about we know about for many, many years.
I watched the highlight video.
Yeah. We're going to talk about some RE2 Remake, if I spell things properly. Some Anthem, and some possibly a new Mass Effect, and some Borderlands 3 DLC. Maybe we'll sneak some Disney Plus in there. Shouldn't be too long of a stream, but you guys and gals know how we are. What's up, Shannon? How you doing, brother? Welcome to the podcast today. So let's start off. I appreciate all you guys and gals. Thank you so much for watching the Sindel video. You guys seem to like that one. I know a lot of Mortal Kombat views are like down through the roof because of how Google/YouTube is, because of the violence policy and stuff like that. So, which the age restrictions were usually locked out of other countries and stuff like that because of the blood and gore and so forth. Red blood is a big no-no. I know a lot of Mortal Kombat YouTubers are struggling right now. They're doing a lot more editing now to make blue blood and stuff like that, or just kill Devora over and over again. Just kill Devora over.
I saw YouTube added a thing.
Well, a lot to talk to. A lot of
you have to claim
a lot of talking about today. It's a pretty actually big news day for gaming history. JJ and I, again, we did not watch Microsoft XO19. It's their big event. It's kind of like their PlayStation experience. And the couple of highlights we wanted to talk about and discuss is mostly Game Pass. A lot of games are coming to Game Pass. I didn't list every single one. I just got some few Japanese highlights here. We got Yakuza 0, Kiwami 1 and 2, Kingdom Hearts the 1.5, 2.5, 2.8, all coming to Game Pass, and also Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 10-2, 13, and I think 15 are all coming to
26, 34.
Are all coming to Microsoft Game Pass. So huge value. If you did not check out our stream last night, JJ and I were talking about how much of a great a value Game Pass was. So what do you think of some of these announcements? And really the only big highlights of Microsoft XO19 was just the Game Pass stuff. I mean, Witcher 3 is going to be on there. Rage 2 is going to be on there. There's a ton of other games. But what do you think so far?
The Game Pass is the best deal in video games right now. I mean, right now you can get 3 months for $1, I think is what it said.
Damn.
That's their Black Friday deal. The ultimate Xbox Live Game Pass or whatever. So, I mean, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, whatever you play, that right now that is trying to get the good graces of everyone. Yeah. It's the best. It is the best deal, and there's so many great games on there.
I mean, so many games. I mean, if you have an Xbox One and you don't plan on buying any video games, Game Pass is the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I might sign up for the Game Pass today and get it for $1.
This is what they've been struggling with for a while, though, is Japanese-style games, grabbing that Japanese audience. What do you think finally you think it's a little too late for Kingdom Hearts and Yakuza because we played the F out of them on PlayStation and PC? Well, Yakuza on PC, but Kingdom Hearts. There was a PS4 thing. All of them were on PS4 when Kingdom Hearts 3 came out earlier in January this year.
I would say that I didn't play any of the Kingdom Hearts. I think 3 is the only one I played. But if it was a Sony exclusive, and now I don't think it's too late. I think people still want to, especially our age, who grew up with Kingdom Hearts and then they're stubborn and like, I'm not playing anything Sony. Fuck that. But now they get a chance to play it.
You're absolutely right, because there are people like that. There's a huge amount of people that have never touched PlayStation, ironically, in this generation, which is honestly a big mistake. You should be playing PS4.
When did Final Fantasy start being cross-platform?
The very first one was Final Fantasy 13.
Okay.
So that was many, many years ago. That was 2009, maybe? That was a long time ago. I remember Microsoft E3 briefing, and it ended on Final Fantasy 13, and people lost their shit. Like, oh my god, Sony lost a huge exclusive, blah, blah, blah. Like, and they did. It was a big megaton. That was one of their best announcements of all time in Microsoft history, was having Final Fantasy 13. Unfortunately, that whole trilogy is just okay. To be nice about it, as a big Final Fantasy fan that I am, it's just, Lightning was too much. They tried to make Lightning too much like Cloud, which is the main female protagonist in that game. But I think it's really big. I think it's good. I think it is kind of a little bit too late. I think most people already played. If you played Kingdom Hearts 3 on PS4, you probably went through the whole trilogy, which in reality is not a trilogy. It's like 12 effing games you probably went through. Because I think it's 3 or 4 games each one. So like you went through like 9 games before you got to the 10th one.
They literally have a game called 2.8.
Yeah.
That's fucking nuts to me.
Yeah.
Not
and
3.
Plus,
not
they haven't
2.
been really consistent on platform either, because they've been, a lot of those games were on 3DS and DS and Game Boy Advance games or DS. Like, they were all over the place. PSP.
Mobile had an exclusive.
These collections are nice that they're remastered and they put on it. They're high res. They're usually the final mix version of them. Really good. I think it's a good win. I think Microsoft Goodwill campaign is really smart that way. I know they're losing money. We discussed it a little bit last night, not on the podcast, but they are losing money for sure on their first party exclusives, putting them on there. But we'll get into that a little bit later, because I think they've lost over like $5 million or something. They lost a lot of money. Like, that's actually not a lot of money for them, but in gaming in total, that is a lot of money.
Well, when they put Gears 5 on their day one, that's taking a hit. You're like, we're gonna take this hit, we're gonna get Goodwill, but you're taking a monster hit.
Yeah, big time. Because I'm still in that camp that believes you really got to have good exclusives to sell your console, and Sony and Nintendo are the biggest proof. And Sony is just a juggernaut with that right now. With their first party lineup, it's insane what they have and what they offered, and it really paid off for them, because they took a lot of huge chances with a lot of these games. I don't think a lot of people, we're going to talk about Death Stranding later, but I don't think a lot of people would have I don't think if Microsoft took Kojima in, I'm pretty sure Death Stranding would be a very different game. It wouldn't be what it is today. Not a lot of companies have the guts to just basically make essentially a delivery game. You're essentially a delivery man. But you have this crazy story on top of it, and then you got some good action when you get to it involved in it as well.
Yeah, it truly is a fantastic. And I'm not as far as you. I think what they say, it takes about 50 hours to beat just the campaign. So I'm like a fifth way through it, but it's a lot of fun.
It's very Kojima for sure.
Yeah,
super Kojima.
And I'm not, like I've said on the spot,
JJ's not a Kojima guy.
I'm not a Kojima guy. I don't like the Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid 4 came with my PS3 when I bought it, and I played it for 45 minutes, and in those 45 minutes, it was just a cutscene. I'm like, fuck this, I want to play a video game. So I never touched it again. I will say this: Metal Gear Solid 1 of the all-time great video games. That game is fantastic.
I actually really have a big heart for number 4 because that ending for Guns of the Patriots is still a PS3 exclusive to this day. I wish they would remaster it on PS4. I would love to play it. And it literally takes 8 playthroughs to platinum that game, which I never did. I never did 8 playthroughs of that game, but it's the way how great of a mastermind. I don't want to blow too much steam his way because he is a very brilliant guy, Kojima, and he knows it. Everybody talks about it. But the way to wrap up the Metal Gear series, to tie in every single loose end from all the games at that time, to wrap up Solid Snake's story was absolutely brilliant. And each chapter got better and better and better and better. Man, it was well done. But yes, you had to sit through a lot of cutscenes for that game.
Well, what I've heard, it was his movie. He wanted to direct a movie. They wouldn't let him, and that was his directing a movie.
And to this day, he said to this day, he has not finished Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, the game that came out was not his original ending and all that. And it still did amazing. It got a 93 on Metacritic and stuff. Like, it did so well and so well.
I heard it was like 2/3 of a game or half a game.
Yeah.
Like, you've told me that, and a lot of people said that when he got let go. But
the guy is so meticulous on making his games. I was watching the making of Metal Gear Solid 4, and he was doing the playtest run, and he was shooting a car or a truck with the guns, and the bullets weren't lining up properly, and the gun wasn't making the right sound, and he knew each spot where it needed to be, and like, he's just a perfectionist. He demands a lot from his staff, so it was really interesting to see Death Stranding made in 3 years.
I'll say this about his genius is he made a playable teaser that felt like a full game.
Man, what I can't imagine what that game would have been like.
It's still considered one of the best. It's still considered one of the best horror games, and it's not even a full game.
Yeah, I know. It's just
it's a demo.
It's just a fucking demo.
It's a fucking demo.
It's just a teaser, legit.
Yeah.
What it is. The naming is brilliant. Like Kojima's names, they're legit. Like when he names something, it's like legit meaning. Like in Metal Gear Solid 5, Quiet, the female sniper you're with, she is just quiet. She doesn't talk at all. There's more deeper.
Very
Fragile. I won't spoil anything about Fragile, but Fragile and Death Stranding, maybe she's a little fragile, like, to put it lightly. I won't explain, and I won't go too deep into that, but I think
we gotta get off topic.
Yeah, I think Game Pass is a fantastic thing. And you know how our podcasts go, guys. They always do.
Yeah. A lot of threads.
Game Pass is a fantastic thing. There's got to be an interesting balance. How do you feel about Sony not doing it? Them specifically saying, hey, our games are too special. And a lot of people took that very offensively, which I didn't take it offensively. I'm like, no. If you played these games, they really are really special.
They want to make, their money, obviously. They want to sell. What I found intriguing about PlayStation or Sony is they announced this big update to PlayStation Now, and then they just scrapped the whole thing because they're getting rid of it.
Yeah.
So it was pretty. I was like, because they the Game Pass, you got to compete with that, right? Well, they were going to, and then they're like, nah, fuck it, because they're still selling well. They still sell all their games just fine. So I think the Game Pass is a great idea, but how long can you keep it up?
Yeah,
how long are you gonna charge someone $1 to play for 3 months, and then that person's probably not gonna. He's probably like, fuck this. I played because if you are a dedicated gamer, and that's pretty much, if that's your job, or if all you do is play video games, or if you have the time to do it, you can, in 3 months, you can rattle off a bunch of video games that you didn't get to play.
You're absolutely right. And how are you gonna? This is what Netflix and Amazon and a lot of the streaming services deal with, right? How are you going to keep getting subs? How are you going to keep getting, new subscribers and stuff like that? It's a really tough, plank wall. It's a really slippery slope. Like, how are you going to really do it, right? That's a brilliant thing you just brought up, because, like, how are you going to really keep people invested in this, right?
Yeah, you can, if you keep putting your day one, let's say Halo, when the new Halo comes out,
Yeah.
it's on their day one. You're going to lose a ton of money.
Yeah. Are you going to sell Scarlet because you put that day one, right?
Yeah. So I think it'll stay, but I think it's going to be more of a. I think they're going to stop putting day one games on there.
Yeah.
It's going to be more of a. They'll start adding more like these Japanese titles. That's a great thing to do. More of the old school game. Like if NHL Hits was on Game Pass and I could play that online with you, all day, baby. NFL, NBA Street, the NFL.
Dude, Street 3 is a classic, man. NFL
if you
Street
make
3,
all that,
oh my god!
I mean, our Throwback Thursdays would be dope.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're thinking about doing that a lot for you guys too. We're thinking about doing a lot of throwbacks.
But that's just me, though. I'm one person who plays all those. You know, I can't be in the majority on that. But I think it'll be more backwards compatible type of, the old school games with.
I'm with you, but I also think, I hate to bring this up, I think the price will go up too. I think the price will.
If they're going to, because that's what they're banking on, is you pay that $1 and you enjoy it. It's kind of like Disney Plus is right now out the gates. That price is going to go up.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
It's not going to say $7 a month because they're going to be adding. I mean, it's maybe the best rollout I've ever seen of a subscription service because they announced everything they're putting on it before they even released the damn thing.
Yeah.
We're putting, they got all these Marvel threads in there and they know that makes a bunch of money. So it's not going to say $7 forever. So I'm with you. It's the $1. Hopefully that gets you hooked. It's like selling drugs. Hopefully I'll give you a little bit for free.
Yeah, a little bit. You just need a little
for
bit.
cheap. Hopefully it gets you hooked and you're playing it.
Yeah.
You're paying because it's going to have to go up if you're going to have all this good content on there because they are. It's a fantastic
content. Ton of Game of the Years on there. Witcher 3. That game from 2015 is still better than most games now. Like that's how good that game still holds up.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it's everywhere. It's even on the Switch now. Like, wow, the hell?
Yeah.
Like, wow.
It's. I just every day I check my app store to find new games for my phone, and Gwent, I think is what it's called, is on there every day as the top game.
It's
top
huge.
Games.
They make so much money off that game.
Yeah.
They make so much.
So I don't personally have it. I think I'm going to get it this month. Or I'm going to probably get it today or tomorrow because I want to play Gears 5 before the game, so I have a more feel for it.
Yeah, we should play it together for sure.
Oh yeah, so that's my plan is to get it, and I highly recommend it. I mean, it's if you have an Xbox. I know what's the one subscriber we have who always wants to play hockey with us.
Derek, my buddy Derek.
Yeah, Derek. Derek. I mean, until February, or I guess it'd be till late January for $1, man.
Yeah. So this one might piss off some people that are in this category of it not winning Game of the Year. But RE2 Remake already officially today won its first Game of the Year award.
Yeah.
The Golden Joystick Award. It is, if you guys don't know what that is, it is a show, a British award show they do every year. They've been doing it since 1983. It
was their 37th annual Golden Joystick. I looked over at some of the winners. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Days Gone won a couple awards.
Days Gone won.
The British love Days Gone. Man, that game did so well over there. Its first week of Days Gone sold 30%, 36% more than Death Stranding.
Yeah, it won Best Storytelling for a Sony exclusive, or Best Storytelling period.
Yeah, Best Storytelling period.
And it won Best Sony Game.
What was the Game of the Year last year from them?
What was last year? It was probably Red Dead, huh?
Nope. Red Dead only took one award. God of War? God of War had 4 awards, but not Game of the Year. Fortnite won Game of the Year last year from all 3.
Fortnite? Because I know Epic won Studio of the Year.
Yeah, this year, and a lot of people were freaking out. Like, is that a good sign? Is that good?
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. What else is
this is this is not the award show we're covering, but I think this is a really good sign for RE2 Remake that it's going to have some power. It's going to win a lot of Game of the Year awards from a lot of panels.
Yeah, it's going to be up there, and
yeah.
It deserves it, man. I've played almost every major game outside of Gears 5, and some indie games.
Yep. You know, we still don't know what that big indie gem is right now, but as soon as the nominees come out, we're gonna go through it. We're gonna broadcast that live show of it. But I think it's a lock right now. I think it's gonna be between RE2 and Sekiro. I'm going out on a limb already.
No.
I said it since January when it first came out. When we first did our spoiler cast, you, me, and Nightface. Shout out to you, Nightface. Hope you're doing well, fella. It's game of the year, man. RE2 remake. It changed it up. It has an it factor. There's a lot of several factors for game of the year, in my opinion. You got to have, like, obviously these are a critic award shows, so the critics got to vote on it. It's got to be a media darling. It has to have an it factor. It's got to have great graphics usually, great gameplay, solid gameplay as well. So I mean, these games are fantastic, and it's hard when you get into the top 6. It is really hard to be nominated. And it's a real special thing, and every single game deserves it. We talked about it last year because a lot of people were like, why is Celeste nominated? But, that game had a really powerful message. That was its it factor. It wasn't the graphics or anything like that. Gameplay was super hard. But it had a personal, deep story.
The music was great.
Yes.
The gameplay, the mechanics were great. Nostalgia-wise, it gave you that 8-bit kind of feel.
What's up, Genesis? Eventually, we'll play some Overwatch. Maybe some Overwatch 2, Genesis. Go ahead, JJ.
Well, Celeste deserved to be there just for many reasons.
And that's why...
I went back and I've been watching Seth play Undertale. I think that's from 2015.
Yeah,
I think it got nominated.
2016, I think, maybe.
Yeah, and they got nominated for quite a bit. And that game it's simple but fantastic. Like, it is a fun... And the music's great and everything's fun.
That game got that guy a lot of jobs, man.
Yeah, I forgot he did the music for oh man, I just saw it.
The monster game for Nintendo, like Little Pocket Hero or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. Little Town Hero. Hero.
Yeah. So back to your Microsoft thing though. I'm interested to see Rare's new game, more of it. They didn't really show a lot.
Yeah, it was a teaser, right?
Yeah, it's I'm interested to see more. I probably won't play it, but I want to see if I watched their highlight video and nothing really jumped out to me.
I know this is a big we're not Microsoft haters on here, and this still is a big criticism for me because I do not care how many studios you buy. Do not care. But if you do not put out quality products, people will not buy those games. If you keep putting out Crackdown 3 and stuff like that, subpar stuff, they bought a bunch of studios. I'm interested to see what they do with those studios, and will they be ready for Scarlet day one? I don't think so. Maybe one of them.
Yeah, the quality of games. I think they push a lot of quantity. They're trying to beat you down with quantity, but the quality isn't where it should be in 2019. I mean, Sea of Thieves doesn't look great.
Yeah.
Crackdown 3 fell on its face.
Yeah. So much trouble that game had, man.
But I hear, I'm anxious to play Gears 5 because I've heard nothing but good things about Gears 5.
Yeah, I have too. I only had one. One of my friends, Jake, shout out to you, Jake. But he was the only, he played it, beat it, and he said it doesn't deserve a game of the year. But he's the only person that told me that. Everybody else.
I'm anxious for the new Halo. I know they added they're adding Halo Reach.
Halo Reach.
Yes. To the
That's
Halo
one of my
collection.
favorite Halos too. Reach was fantastic.
I have the Master Chief Collection, so is it just going to be a patch?
I believe so. I also have the Master Chief Collection, and that was kind of a big disappointment because it just never ran properly.
No, it was nostalgic at first playing those maps where Jacob used to beat my ass on.
Yeah,
you just find the rocket launcher. Just find his rocket launcher and just pound me with it. But yeah, that was a disappointment too. That should have been nothing but goodness.
Yeah, it should have been phenomenal. That should have been one of the best deals ever, and ended up being
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk again. I don't want to make it seem like we don't love Microsoft because JJ and I do, but the criticism we have is fair. I think it's fair, especially with EXO 2018. I watched their live show last year, and a lot of it was very fake and a lot of fake applause, a lot of paid off. You can see the producers in the back like, "Hey, clap, clap," and I don't like that. Same thing with Bethesda's show last year. This year at E3 where people were cheering for Fallout 76. Nobody was cheering for Fallout 76. That's some bullshit.
It's a game that's being. It came out, fell on its face, hard, and they've patched in a few good things, but Outer Worlds is taking it out.
Yeah, Outer Worlds, that might be another one that might be up there for Game of the Year, JJ. Like, that's doing so well. It's sold really well. People love it. It looks great. It has a little bit of controversy because of the female looks in the game.
It's another game I would like to try. If I get the Game Pass, it's another game I'm going to try.
It's Obsidian, guys. So if you guys don't know who it is, Microsoft just bought them. It's on everything, though. It's on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. But it's essentially Fallout in space. Essentially what it is.
So, yeah, it's another game. Another game that was, since we're talking about the Golden Joysticks, who won the award for critical acclaim was Control. It's a game.
Yeah, that game was a big sleeper hit, man.
It's a game, again, Black Friday's coming soon, and I'm probably going to pick up 4 or 5 games for Black Friday. So
I think I'm looking to pick up some stuff, too, because I want to get some.
I want to get FIFA. I want to get Control, Star Wars, probably one of the Pokemons, and Luigi's Mansion.
Yeah. There's a lot of great games we still haven't played, guys. We haven't played Astral Chain yet. All the games AJ just named. We didn't play Link's Awakening. We didn't play that one yet. There's a lot of great Nintendo games. There's a lot of games right there that are probably ahead of Borderlands already for Game of the Year, in my opinion. Like, that's a big list already. So, like, what are you going to nail it down to 6 for? Like, it's going to be so hard. It's going to be really hard.
They're going to nominate. It's just everyone's going to be a nominee now. They're going to 15 nominees.
Yeah, a participation award now, right?
Yeah.
Here's your little trophy, little ribbon.
I want to say this out loud. I think you and I have said this before. We are the most spoiled we've ever been with video games. When we're like, oh, Borderlands 3 will never get Game of the Year, and it's a fucking fantastic game, and that's how spoiled we are right now. Where, I didn't feel like that when I was a kid. You only had, and I only had so much money. Like,
we only had maybe we'd play 4 or 5 games a year, and that's about it.
I'm like, I better pick out a good one, because if I pick out a bad one, I'm fucking stuck with this thing.
You don't want to make a mistake, like, on those choices there. I think it's great. I think RE2 Remake winning this first one here. It's going to win several other. I think it sets it up for the Jeff Keighley award. We should be knowing sometime soon.
I follow him on Twitter. I check all the time. I'll say this. He's going to have a big swing in it
for Death Stranding, right?
If Death Stranding does qualify. I don't think it'll win. I still think RE2 wins, but I think he is going to push as hard as he can for this. He's a Kojima guy through and through.
Yeah, but that's wrong. That's fundamentally wrong to do that.
Oh, no, yeah.
That's fundamentally wrong. There's a cutoff date. There should be a cutoff date. So what's your top 6 right now? I'm putting pressure on you. What's your top 6?
You got to ask me this before we stream, so I'm prepared. So I have everything.
You're fine. I'll say mine right now. These are what I think will be the legit nominees. I'll go with, in order of winning it, the chance of winning it. I'm gonna go with RE2 Remake, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Devil May Cry 5. I'm gonna go Outer Worlds, and I'm gonna go Gears 5 as the top 6 nominees. Maybe Gears 5 might be number 3, but those are the 6 nominees in my mind right now. If this was my award show, it would be RE2 Remake, Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, Death Stranding, Fire Emblem 3 Houses. That's the one Nintendo game I would pick. I would pick probably Devil May Cry 5, and then I'd probably pick Gears or Control. One of the 2. I haven't played those 2 yet, but that's probably where I would lean.
I agree. I do agree RE2 is going to win it. The game
You've been giving me some shit. Borderlands Spoilercat, you said Sekiro was going to win it. You keep flip-flopping.
Well, yeah, I got a lot of time to flip-flop. I go back to my...
Factual. That's a factual statement.
They haven't announced anything. I can say whatever the fuck I want right now.
I know Days Gone's really high up there for you, but I don't think it gets nominated.
I think RE2 is the winner. I do believe just it's not the best story. The game mechanics aren't the best, but I think the whole package of it is the best. It was so much fun. You got the 4 branching stories you can do.
And the conversation is really interesting too because it changed remakes forever.
Yeah,
People don't think.
It took what you expected or what you thought was going to happen. It didn't do this, but it kind of tilted on its side where it still threw some surprises at you, and it plays like a completely different game.
Yeah.
It's not. They could have just called it Resident Evil 8 if they wanted to, because it's not. It isn't.
It's not the same 2 that I played 20 years ago, guys. It's a very different game.
It's a remake in the sense of the story is similar. Like I get why but it just plays completely different.
Pretty much the pretty much the setting and characters is pretty much all of the remake right there. Everything else is 95% different.
Well, I think that's what remakes these days should be.
Yeah, I shouldn't
be getting. The reason you're remaking it is because it was a great game back then, but you have the technology to make it better. So if you don't make it better, it's like...
That's not also necessarily true because the Crash, Medieval, Crash Team Racing, and Spyro are phenomenal. All 4 of those games are shot for shot, but phenomenal. But you're saying you want to see more
I'll say this, though.
Yeah.
If you compare Spyro, when it first came out, to Spyro 1, which one looks better? That's
obviously part of the newer one, yeah.
Yes, that's part of it, is they're able to... What they saw 20, 25, 30 years ago, they're able to, polish it. Now, shit looks real now. They can get better, but it's hard to think that they can get much better than where they're at now.
Yeah, so that conversation is so hard, though, right? Because remake it's a big web now. It's not the same. There's remasters, there's reports, there's shot-for-shot remakes. There's RE2 now, which is like... Shit, that's in a discussion. Is that really a new game, or is that really a remake? Like it's in that discussion.
Because what? I wouldn't call Crash or Spyro. Crash and Spyro aren't ports. They're more like reskinned. They're reskinned.
Yeah.
But
they're shot for shot remakes. Like
RE2 is a. RE2 it just handles as it's not the tank controls and the. So, I would say that wins. I agree. Sekiro is close. I think Gears 5 could possibly win it. I think those 3 would be the top 3.
Yeah. I could see that too. I could see that for sure.
I am a big fan of Days Gone. I think Days Gone told a great story. I was surprised at how well the game handled for being. I mean, it better of being pushed back like 8 times.
Yeah, it got pushed back a lot. Yeah.
So
they weren't good pushbacks either. Those were bad pushbacks.
I think that hurts it a little bit, but I think the story was great. I loved, it never felt like I was grinding, because you and I do a lot of, platinums now, you try to, and it never felt grindy to platinum that game, where I feel like Death Stranding is going to be a grind.
Yeah, it will be for sure.
Yeah. It will be a grind. It's not a hard platinum, but it's going to be like 100+ hours to platinum that fucking game.
Maybe not that much. I mean, you'd be surprised how many materials and stuff you get. And the thing is, people are also helping you out.
Yeah. I was reading online. They said double the time of hours you put in, and that's gonna
probably.
You gotta find.
Yeah. I mean, I think Metal Gear 5 was probably like 200 hours. I never platinumed that one. Like, it was a long time.
Well, what'd you say? Metal Gear 4 was 8 playthroughs.
You had to play 8 playthroughs, man.
I'm not that dedicated to get a platinum trophy.
Those are one of those ones that are a badge of honor, though. You hold it up like the Bloodborne one I got.
Bloodborne is a big. I got that. Yeah. For my Nintendo, I think Super Smash Bros. Ultimate makes it.
Yeah. Okay. It technically came out December last year, so it hasn't been a full year.
Yeah. So I don't play it as much as I have that I did when I started, but
is that the fighting game that's going to finally break the mold and get nominated?
I think it gets nominated. I still think Mortal Kombat's a better fighting game, but I think this hits a lot of.
I would say Smash Brothers is a better fighting. The package you get, the characters you get, It is the best crossover game ever. You can't get any better than Smash Brothers.
No, but I think just technically speaking,
Well,
I mean, as
the
a
look, yeah.
as a as
I
a
don't know.
not
Smash
even,
looks pretty good.
no, not look, just a technical game. The
Yeah.
fighting, from the fighting standpoint, it's better. Smash Bros is more fun. Like
Yeah.
if I have a party at my
I
house,
know
I'm
this is
gonna
going
play.
to sound crazy, but I actually think Mortal Kombat 11 is a little too basic. You basically rely on one combo, and that's it. There's no variety. That's the problem with the game.
But I had a lot of fun with that one
Yeah,
too.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
What would be my sixth? I've never played a Fire Emblem game, so
Yeah.
I have to trust you. I think Control could make this list.
Yeah, I think Control could make it. I think Outer Worlds could make it.
Yeah,
it's a tough conversation. Like you said, maybe Death Stranding makes it. You know,
if it makes a cutoff. I still think Borderlands 3 is like a 7 or 8 on that list. I think it's really close. I don't know if it'll make the list anymore after going back and reviewing
much better games than Borderlands.
The review in the
I know
year.
You loved it. I loved it too, but technicality standpoint, graphic standpoint, and it factor, it doesn't have any of those.
I will say this: it does look better than Borderlands 2 for the PS3, but it doesn't look a lot better than the Handsome Collection. Like they do, and again, I'll say it again. When I played with my son, it was and I don't know about the single game experience, but every time one of us would pull up our menu, man,
and that's the biggest fundamental flaw in Borderlands 3 is that the multiplayer is terrible.
It slowed that, and it's meant to be a multiplayer game. It isn't.
And right now, I hate to say this, but there's like nobody playing it right now. You know, the Halloween event wasn't that fun. You know, it wasn't.
I didn't even boot the Halloween event.
There's no raid boss right now. The story wasn't fantastic. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't great. It wasn't nothing special. So I mean, all these games we just named, all have very special qualities. They have one thing that is either really, really great, or they have several things that are really, really great.
You know, I'm probably forgetting. To my tag team partner, and we are the world team champions of the world.
But you forgot about Chad, Kingdom Hearts, right?
Chad, that's what I'm saying. Chad, Kingdom Hearts was a good game. I'll say it's a good game. Yeah. I didn't fall in love with it. It's also me being an outsider looking in.
You liked it though. I was shocked. Yeah,
I had fun. I finished it.
Yep, you beat it. AJ beat.
I had a lot of fun. Some of the worlds just felt empty.
Yeah.
In that they could have done a lot better because there's a lot of nostalgia factor. Being a toy, I love the Toy Story movies, and that world was probably one of my favorites. But
yeah, that was probably one of my favorites too. Was probably Toy Story or Big Hero 6. What up, Seth?
Yeah. Yeah, but even Big Hero 6 that world felt empty.
Yeah,
it was just
it was just a big world. Yeah.
Go here to here, fight this guy.
Yeah.
Go here to here, and Frozen was fun for me because they added new game mechanics.
Yeah.
Where
I was disappointed with that world because maybe I got a little too overhyped with Frozen. Everybody was telling me it's a great movie.
Well, there was a shot for shot.
But it's legit shot for shot, right? Yeah.
They just kind of pieced in Sora into the music.
Goofy in the Let It Go song. Yeah,
into the music. But to me, it was a fun game though. Like I said, we are spoiled as Kingdom Hearts. If Kingdom Hearts 3 came out 10 years ago, that's game of the year.
Yeah, I love the Bearded Wonder. Shout out to you. I hope you're watching this. And I know on the spoiler cast you gave Kingdom Hearts 3 a 10 out of 10, but it's just not, man. It's just nowhere near that. I agree with the Metacritic score. It's an 83. That's a great score. You know how hard it is to have that score? Well, with 90 reviews, it's super hard to get that score. So when God of War and Red Dead get like a 94, 97, it's truly, really fucking special.
Was Spider-Man Spider-Man in the high 80s?
It was an 87.
Yeah, so
I want to point this out for my case for Game of the Year. Also, all the nominees, the lowest nominee from the last 2 years was Assassin's Creed Odyssey at like an 86.
Really?
Borderlands 3 is a 78. There's no chance in hell it's getting in there, bro. There's no chance in hell.
Well, I'll say this.
And
Wait
I know
till next year.
one more thing. I'll let you say your piece. But one more thing. Not everything's all based on Metacritic score. I know a lot of you guys don't value it. But what I'm saying is just fundamentally hard to get a really high score like that because you got 90 plus reviews. You got reviewers giving you 1s and 2s that are
like you were
quote
talking
unquote
about Death
credible reviewers. Like Death Stranding got a 0 from a reviewer. Like
there's no way a game this day and age. I'll tell you right now. I could have played. What was one of the worst games I played this year? Rage 2.
Yeah.
Rage 2 is the worst game I played this year. I played everything.
And he platinumed it. He platinumed the game.
I fucking spent the hours to play that game. So that game doesn't deserve a 0.
Yeah.
There's no way you can give a game nowadays a 0.
Yeah.
Unless it just crashes right away.
Yeah.
Because I mean, graphically, Rage 2 looked pretty. It was an empty world, but the car handled great. The
gun
enemies
mechanics were really fun.
Yeah, the enemies were fun. It just was empty and it got real boring.
Yeah,
a lot of the time.
The story wasn't really good. And today, more than ever, since God of War won it, they value story more than anything. So you got to have a pretty good story.
Yeah, and that's Rage 2 is it had a story. I couldn't tell you what it was. I don't even remember really. Some guys trying to kill I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't. I had a lot of high hopes for that because I really liked the first game, and they marketed it completely wrong.
Yeah, when they market it as because Borderlands never feels empty. It never felt not fun. There's always something fun to do. Where Rage was marketing itself as, we're better than Borderlands.
I know, and that was a big cheap shot.
No,
and you shouldn't. They're not even close, man.
No, it's not good.
Again, I don't want to make it sound like I don't like Borderlands 3 because I did. I platinumed it, loved it, played it extensively with Chad and Tim. Played many, many hours after I beat the campaign and platinum the game. But it's just not. It doesn't have it. It just doesn't have it. It's not that special of a game. And I don't want to make it sound like it's trash or anything. It's not. It's great. It's more Borderlands, and that's where it needs to be.
I agree with you that that the game of the year should be a special year or a special game. It should be and you don't have one of those every year. Yeah. And like you've said is sometimes games do need to know, it's just a fun game, like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3.
One of our favorite games this year, right?
Fun game. It was awesome. But it is what it is. It's a fun 4-player beat 'em up with not a lot more than that.
2 years ago, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 for me. I know that game ain't win Game of the Year or anything, but I put 200 plus hours into it because I loved it. I just have fun with it. Games just need to be games sometimes. You just got to have fun sometimes.
Madden. Every Madden every year is not a good game, but I put a lot of hours in it because I have fun playing it. It's something that I love to do.
JJ and I have fun with our league. We make Strauss Bowl.
Levi with 2K. I don't know how many hours it's the game you play the most every single year.
Yeah.
And it's not a game of the year ever.
Not even close.
You enjoy it. You have fun playing it. You love the grind, and that's where video games. Borderlands 3 is a fun, really good video game.
And I think I think that was the problem with the panel last time because I think a lot of you guys were emotionally invested into the game because you just beat it.
Yeah, I was still in it.
You need to pull yourself out objectively and look and be like, "Yo." And I can do that with 2K. I can tell you that any day. That 2K doesn't even deserve Sports Game of the Year this year. I'm like, no.
After playing, because after doing Borderlands 2 is the much, much, much better game.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't.
But it'll be hard to go back to that one because 3 plays so much better than that one.
3 does play better, but 2 is just story wise, and I think that's where you and I are at.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of gamers are at, Fortnite has its place in the world. My kids play it a lot. It's fun. It's not for me, but I get the appeal. It's kind of like a lot of, Sekiro. Sekiro's a fucking great video game. I get it. It's just not for me. But I get
it's not for a lot of people. You got to be really strong-willed to be Sekiro.
Yeah. And the dying's not what bothered me. I don't know why I didn't. Because it's the one really popular game I didn't finish it.
Yeah,
it's one of the games that, but I see its appeal
here too. I didn't even finish it either.
Yeah, but like you said, it's that's a hard game.
I will. I'll go back and eventually
watching people speed run that game is fucking insane.
Yeah, it's insane how they are so good at that game. I'm with. I think RE2 is by far the best video game I played this year. I just think it has everything. It just has the it factor. It questions if this is a remake, and it's not. It's something. It's a brand new game in my eyes.
It's so a different. New. Well, it's a different category because it's not
Final
a remake.
Fantasy VII remake is going to put itself in this category next year.
Yeah, it's going to be. I think RE2 kind of opened the floodgates for these kind of.
Yes, yeah.
We can take what we did and we can make it better because it's the same story for the most part. I know there's little changes, but it's the same story, same characters.
That's why I differ a little bit because it is not exactly the same story.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's the same story with little tweaks, though. Because it's like because from what I've understand from what you told me is like there's some with the gun guy, the gun dealers at the beginning of the game, not in the middle of it. In the first one,
they changed a lot. Only Leon meets Kendo. They made Kendo deeper. He has a daughter now. You know what Kendo did in the original RE2? He sat by the door while zombies burst through and killed him. They gave depth to everybody. Marvin, you had huge depth to Marvin. The boss battles are very different. Not all of them are the same. They are different places. You don't even fight G4 with Leon at all. You fight him with Claire. Like, it's very different game. The ending, the true ending, when you finally do both campaigns, is the same. I'll give you that. That is the same. But even how the game starts is completely different.
But aren't they trying to hit... They kind of hit all the same beats, though, right?
Well, this is the thing. It hits my nostalgia factor, but yet it's giving me something new.
Because the thread's there, but they kind of branch off a little bit. But it's still trying to make its way back.
I think that's a fair way to put it. Yeah, that's kind of... But to me, I would argue tooth and nail that it's a very different story. Like, saying that it's the exact same story...
I didn't say it's exact.
It's being simplistic. I'm not saying you, but Chad. I've heard it from Chad. I heard it from several other people. I'm like, it's not the same. You haven't played the game. If you say it's the same story, you haven't played the game.
Because
this is not subjectively me talking. This is just objectively. This is just the best game this year. That and Sekiro. And I would even argue Sekiro is not the best Miyazaki game. This is the best Miyazaki game. By far, Bloodborne is a better game than Sekiro. But Sekiro did a lot of different. It had actually a story. There's two different ways with story, in my opinion. There's a story that's very direct, like God of War. They're telling you a story. And there's a story like Bloodborne where you kind of have to piece it all together. It's kind of all over the place. And then you figure it out. And then, Death Stranding's a little bit of both. He's trying to tell you a story, but you also got to kind of piece it together as well as you go along. And, Sekiro has a very direct story. It's the first ever Souls game that has a very direct story. It actually has a story that is going on that you follow through cutscenes and everything. Where in the previous games, you kind of have to piece it all. And that's why people really love Bloodborne, because the lore and the sickness of the game and how creepy it is. It doesn't get much better. And Metacritic wise, that is better rated than Sekiro. And that is his best game, for sure. By far.
No arguments for me.
Yeah, let's get to our next one. This is kind of one we thought for a long time probably was going to happen. Anthem, it seems like Anthem is in a process of like a 2.0 reboot. It's in the process of it right now, so you're good, don't worry. So, BioWare supposedly... Oh, wait till JJ get back. BioWare supposedly is getting a lot of help from the other EA studios, and they're retooling, rebooting Anthem into a 2.0 style, update. I don't think it'll be a new game, but it'll be like an update that fixes everything. What do you think of that? You and me played the demo. I wasn't really sold on it.
It was okay.
It had a lot of problems.
It was okay. I see what they're going for, but I think if what we've learned from video games now is you can fall off the horse and get back on.
Yeah.
You don't have to just be complete. And it sounds like EA is still and BioWare are still all in on Anthem. They're not giving up on it. So a perfect example of something that was garbage that can be great is No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky was
great example.
Was a terrible game on release, and they have released patch after patch after patch, and now it is a very good video game.
Yeah.
So it's possible that it can happen. It's just going to be hard for it to shake the initial Destiny comparisons. Now if they can do what Destiny did with was it The Taken King?
Yeah.
If they can do something like that, then I think they'll be all right. But I don't know if there's the goodwill there for them to truly. Yeah. I mean, their fan base would, you're going to have to get people back into it, and I'll believe it when I see it. It's going to be a long
road. I mean, it's not going to be easy. I think it is possible. I fell in love with the game when I first saw it announced at Microsoft show like 2 or 3 years ago. But then when someone pointed out that it's like Destiny, I'm like, oh, wait, you're right. And then the game started looking worse and worse. It didn't look as good as it originally looked. And I'm like, yeah, there's some problems. And BioWare's pedigree right now, they're very much like Bethesda. They're at the tipping point where fans don't really care anymore. Fallout 76 was a huge dud. They're trying to reboot that. Mass Effect Andromeda was a big dud. It's $10. It's always $10 every weekend here on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah, I mean, come Black Friday, you'll be able to get that game for $7, and they'll give you another game with it.
Yeah. Take 3 games, please play it. Just play the fucking game.
Yeah,
play the game.
If you're gonna spend any money on a bundle, go get the.
And what was BioWare known for? Great storytelling, and Anthem doesn't have it. Andromeda didn't have it. They kind of work on that.
They kind of lost it at the end of 3.
Yeah, people hated the ending of 3. I still, to this day, Mass Effect 2 is the best game they've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal game, beginning to end.
It was a great series, and then
they also I forgot, I didn't write this down. They teased that they're going to remaster 1, 2, and 3. Which, about time. People have been waiting for that for like 10 years now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a no-brainer, though. If you want to make money, take your best stuff and...
They need to make some money. Because what is EA's biggest flaw? What is the big successful game right now that launched today that everybody's talking about, everybody's playing and saying it's actually really good? And what did they actually say about single-player games a few years ago?
They said it was dead. It was a dying thing. And
it was a dying thing. They couldn't make money off it, right? And what the hell is making the money right now today?
Yeah, it's
Jedi Fallen Order. If you tell great stories, people will love it. People will love it.
That's it. We all want great stories, and it helps when that great story is in a universe people already love.
Yeah.
So what's surprising to me is Jedi Fallen Order on your Metacritic got the same score as Death Stranding.
Actually, I think it has a higher score than Death Stranding, actually.
It was an 83 when I checked today.
Oh, okay, so it is the same score. Okay.
Yeah. And, but the user rating was 90. They're saying it plays like a Souls game with...
Yeah, I heard that. I heard it plays like Souls. I was like, what?
So,
it looked very Uncharted to me, what I watched.
That was the other one. It was Souls mixed with Uncharted is the comparison we got.
Yeah. You know why? Because Amy Hennig worked on the game. She did Uncharted 3. She was the creator.
You know who the game director is on this, right?
It's not Amy. She got fired, I know.
No, it's Stig from God of War 3.
Oh, yes. It makes a lot of sense. Yes.
Yeah. So, but EA has a very bad rap with game, the loot boxes and whatnot. And then Star Wars just can't get out of its own way. EA's had a lot to do with it.
Being pretty big nuts. Yeah. And they had a couple other canceled games, right?
Yeah.
They've had the license for like 10 years. And even Disney was like, yo, why aren't we making good games here? But if I was Disney, I would be pointing the finger at myself too, because you haven't been making very good movies right now with Star Wars.
No, it's a franchise that I'm gonna get roasted for this one. It's a franchise that to me is just not that compelling.
Yeah.
To begin with, it's maybe had 2 good movies in the whole run,
4 and 5, most likely.
Yeah, you know, well,
I
even
like Rogue One a lot too. You and me were talking about it on stream a while ago.
Rogue One personally is my favorite. It's kind of but it was a standalone. It had nothing to do with the Skywalkers till like the
You're
end.
just a big Mads Mikkelsen fan. That's why.
Yeah. No, I'm a big. What's Steve the Pirate's name? I forgot that actor's name.
I
But he does
forgot
the voice.
he's in there.
He does the voice of the robot in Rogue One. KR's whatever.
Oh, really? That's Steve the Pirate.
Yeah, it's Steve the Pirate.
I'm glad he's doing some work still.
Well, no, he's in Firefly. He was a big deal in Fire. He is always doing stuff.
Yeah.
He's a voice, but yeah. So Rogue One to me was, and it kind of set up. A New Hope is boring to me. I mean, your best character doesn't come into the movie till like 40 minutes in is crazy. But to me, Star Wars was never. I was never a Star Wars guy. I watched them all.
Which is kind of crazy because you love your dad so much. Your dad's a big Star Wars guy.
Yeah.
My dad's a big Star Wars guy. I'm a huge Star Wars guy. I have like almost every single toy from my childhood still. Like my X-Wings.
It was never a toy.
I went to the re-releases with my dad and your dad, I think. I think we went to the re-releases of 4, 5, and 6. When they first put digital, people into released them in theaters. I remember going to the movie. I'm pretty sure it was with Uncle, your dad, and
Dad's a big. I never collected the toys. It was never my thing. But I've always loved the idea of the lightsaber battle. And I've never really got to truly play that in a video game.
Well,
you had to be
Star Wars Force Unleashed.
That's an all right game, but the only time that game was really great was the beginning when you got to play as Darth Vader.
Yeah,
where you got to actually be a powerful.
Kill all the Wookiees.
Yeah, you just So
I always heard Star Wars Bounty Hunter for GameCube was really
cool. No. A lot of those, even in the
Rogue Squadron was my favorite series, like the Star Fox version.
What's the MMO? That one's really good too. Republic.
KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah. And there are really good Star Wars games, but I've always, you just want to be the Jedi. You want to have,
like you said, we haven't in like 10 years though. Like it's been a long time. It's been a real long time.
Even when I bought the first, what are they, Battlefront or not? Well, the whatever they are, and even that was like I didn't get to be a Jedi in that. It was fucking stupid. And then if I wanted to play as a character, you have to unlock loot boxes and shit. It's just dumb.
Yeah, it made no sense, man. You can't treat everything like Mutt. Like Mutt and Butt, like FIFA Ultimate Team. You can't treat everything like a loot box thing.
They shouldn't have those in anything but those games.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely.
I shouldn't have to spend money
to unlock Darth Vader and shit. It's stupid. It's dumb.
In a single player story game. Like even this game's gonna have premium. Every game does it now too. If I want to skin or something, I'm being old and crotchety now, but we unlocked all that shit when we were kids. You had to do a certain task to get this thing. And the games it's why God of War. It's not the main reason, but it's one of the reasons God of War is so high on my list. You didn't have to do anything money wise. He gave you the complete game. He didn't give you any DLC that you had to pay for. Or any at all. He gave you everything he had finished. And they, to unlock armor, you just had to fucking get it.
Play the game, get the materials, everything.
And that's how games. I think a lot of games should be. I get the pay to win format, or like FIFA and Madden pretty much are the reason EA can make all kinds of games. But that's why I think games like this new Star Wars game and other games, they're making their money on those two games.
Yeah.
Go out and be creative and do something like.
Well, that's why I brought it up earlier. It's ironic that the
Anthem
game
shouldn't have fell on its face.
Well, it's ironic that the game the thing that we probably love the most, storytelling, single player experience, they shat on it. And it's the one that's probably going to make them a lot of money right now.
It's video games are starting to come to the forefront of the.
I never believed in this thing anyway. Of that single player was dying. I was never into it. I never believed that for a second.
Compared to the radio, television, and cinema, video games are young.
Yeah.
They're the youngest form of entertainment we have outside of
it actually
social
makes
media.
more money than movies. It's the craziest part.
And that's what I'm saying. When you go to a movie outside of, let's say, a horror movie where you just want to see, you want to see stuff you're not supposed to see. You want to see blood, guts, all that shit. But outside of that, you really want to see a good story. I think it's why the MCU does so well. Well, I know it's why the MCU do. Yeah, you got all these characters. That's what you got all these characters you love. But the really high-selling movies are the ones that tell the great stories. And, it's why M. Night Shyamalan has been, fucked his whole career, because he told a really good story, and then you expect that out of him every time. The Sixth Sense is always that twist.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. Lightning
was crazy.
In the bottle, though.
Then you're held to the stand. But I also like his the Glass series, Unbreakable, Glass. Those movies are really
Unbreakable. Unbreakable is really good. What's it called?
Glass is the newest one. What's the one? What's the one in between it?
No, there's. I know what you're talking about, but the one I really like is Unbreakable. That one's really good. I liked Sixth Sense, and I like Signs. Those were my three. But then when I watched Village, it was like that's when
I went to the theater, saw that, and I was fuck this.
Yeah, Village was terrible, man.
But storytelling will always rule the day. Certain game mechanics are fun. Like again, Mortal Kombat story wasn't great. 10 was good. This one wasn't great, but Smash Bros. Story is not one, but it's still a fun game. But
kind of there, yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we all want a good story. We all want an escape from, it's
work, life, stress. You just want to relax a little bit.
It's all, it's why Death Stranding has kind of been pleasantly
surprising.
Awesome, because you're kind of out in this world alone, but you're not.
Yeah.
Like today, I spent literally, I was walking to my next location. Spent 3 minutes just hitting the touchpad, seeing what all he would say and what would be said back to me.
Yeah.
It's a neat mechanic that was added. There's a lot of
real deep game, man. I'm glad you're liking it. I can't wait to do a spoiler cast on it. Back to BioWare though. I like how you brought up story, and this is the next thing. Supposedly, they're working on a new Mass Effect game. And that's the number one thing that needs to be corrected was the story. The story in Mass Effect Andromeda is not very good. The gameplay was, the handling, the shooting and stuff was pretty fun, and the movement. But the biggest problem was we were 600 years in the future, and the story's yet so very bad. They had a chance to really expand and make things really exciting, and they just kind of bare bones and half-assed it.
Again, it comes back to what's going to make me push forward.
Yeah.
The shooting is fun, but am I going to stop doing it because it's the same thing every level? So what is going to make you push forward? And I'm all for it. I've watched a lot of videos on Mass Effect. I truly have never played them, but I know it's an awesome interweaving story for the first 2.5 games.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like the ending of 3, it didn't matter what any of your choices were. But from the first to the second, it matters. The second to, I think, a lot of the third,
and
it does.
And they carry on, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Really interesting.
So it was another brilliant game mechanic and storytelling thing. So to bring it back, that's your home run hitter right there, man. That guy's batting fourth.
Well,
He's got to drive in the
learned their
runs.
lesson with this game, with Star Wars Fallen Order. It's doing so well. Maybe work on stories again. Maybe do some great stories. Push that
again. At the end of the day, that's all. I think that's what the majority of us want. I don't think I'm in the minority.
All right, so next Wednesday, the new Borderlands 3 DLC is dropping. It's going to be announced here on Twitch, YouTube, everywhere, a bunch of platforms. They teased it already, and it's looking like Handsome Jack is coming back. What's up, Kevin? It looks like Handsome Jack is coming back. How do you feel about that, Jay?
I'm excited in a sense. I want to see how they do it. How are they going to bring him back? Because
if you played Tales from the Borderlands, you already know how.
Okay.
But I was hoping
I'm halfway through that.
Well,
I'm not done with it.
I was hoping. I don't. Well, I'll let you finish first because I'm not
Well,
expecting.
it better. It's just I'm tired of seeing deaths retconned for just stupidness.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna retcon it, you better have a fucking good reason.
Yeah. And this is the problem because there's so many questions we had left from Borderlands 3, and I was hoping. What's up, Kevin? I was hoping they would actually explain some of that stuff, which they might. I don't know. We just saw the one teaser image of Handsome Jack most likely coming back, and to me, Handsome Jack's one of the best villains ever created in gaming history. But I don't know if we necessarily need him back, and it seems very odd to me that they would do that again. Don't get me wrong. I had the way they brought him back for Tales from the Borderlands was absolutely a blast. And I don't want to spoil it. It's super hilarious and it's super well done, and it makes a lot of sense story wise.
I have seen him already.
Yeah. You kind of know. So he's in your head. So.
Yeah.
So, but that was a great struggle between him and Reese. He's trying to take over Reese's body.
Yeah.
It's really well done. I don't know. Like, it sounds like he's going to come back as a hologram from the teaser image again.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you saw the teaser image on Twitter or anything.
Yeah, I
did.
That's
when they showed his head kind of floating. And I don't know because I really enjoyed my time with Borderlands, but I don't know if it's worth jumping back right now just for Handsome Jack. I gotta see some gameplay. I gotta see the reaction. Maybe we'll react to that live that day here on 20th. Wednesday. Right here on YouTube. But we'll get to the big order. Was there anything else you wanted to say about that? Sorry.
No, it's got to be, the context has to be right. You can't just you can't kill
I'm shocked because you platinum it, but you never went back to it, right? You never played the Halloween event. You never did anything else.
I haven't. No, I played a little bit afterward because I liked running around doing stuff.
Yeah, I tried to level up Moe's and I didn't fall in love with it.
No, that was another thing I was thinking about doing, is trying to speed level or.
Chad said he would help us out with that.
Yeah, level up some other character, but like you said, it's not something I've been like, oh man, I got to get back and do that.
I don't ever see it on my friends list anymore. The first couple of weeks, everybody was playing it. And then it's like,
Yeah, that's how I can kind of tell what the hotness is. What all of the friends are playing.
And like
right
you
now,
said, it's not a single player game. It's a multiplayer game. People are supposed to be coming back and playing this shit over and over, but we're missing a lot of stuff. And the reason being, I think we are, is because of PS5 around the corner. I think that's the biggest reason for sure.
Well, that, and I thought they made it too easy to get legendaries.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was I think I was level 10, Seth was level 9, and we both already had 3 equipped.
Yeah.
So because that's what the raid bosses are supposed. That's where you're supposed to come back, is getting the better weapons. And you said you had 8 of one of them, like 8 of the same gun.
I killed Tyrene and she dropped 9.
Yeah. So I get wanting. Oh my god, I got a legendary. I'm gonna, I want to use it. There's also, it should be a reward for doing something spectacular. It shouldn't just be a drop.
It's really hard to do that though, because that's what it is. It's a looter shooter.
Yeah.
Finding that balance is really hard. They're gonna have to tweak it over time.
Yeah.
But I seriously think most of the stuff that we really want is because of PlayStation 5 and Scarlet. I think they're waiting because they're caught right in the middle. They still want to keep this game alive. That's why they're doing this DLC announcement early instead of the Game Awards, because I thought this would be a Game Awards announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Game Awards / Shadow Drop. Boom, get it now or whatever. Kevin, how many times you got to pee, bro?
I don't know. He's out. He sees something out there. I think he sees a mouse or a rabbit.
And it's just really, you figured that would be the drop, Shadow Drop on Game Awards, but we're getting an announcement next week. Maybe we'll react to it. Let's get to the biggest topic and end the podcast with this. JJ brought it up. We had an interesting conversation through text. He's like, Jedi Fallen Order versus Death Stranding, and they're both rated the same. But are they the same, and are they both should be considered for game of the year. And this is what I said. I said, I saw that Star Wars game being played. It looks phenomenal. It looks really fun. It looks really good. But I think Death Stranding got hoed a little bit in some reviews. It got a bunch of zeros.
I didn't know that.
Which is not a zero game. I think Death Stranding could be settled at 85. 85, that's fair.
That's where I have it.
This is its score, though. It's an 83. And that's what it's going to be judged at. So, for example, if God of War got an 83 last year, it would have not won Game of the Year.
No, it would have been Red Dead.
Yeah, it would have been Red Dead hands down. And Red Dead is the first game in the last, I think, 3 years to have the highest Metacritic and lose Game of the Year. So it's not all about that, but you got to have a really high score. You got to have a pretty good score.
It was a bad year for both of those to come out. I know they were both pissed that they both got announced that year against each other.
No, it made it a great competition because the whole Game Awards was those two games.
It was...
Red Dead took 4, God of War took 3.
And also, to have a game like Spider-Man come out in the same year, where that game was... I mean, I know it's a known
property,
a property, but the storytelling was great. The mechanics, I mean, the web swing is the best you've seen since Spider-Man 2.
The guts they had in that game.
Yeah.
The characters,
to kill off certain characters. Yeah, I'm gonna try to be better about spoiling things. I'm gonna try to be better. I know this game is from 2018. We did a spoiler cast, but I'll remove my one rule. But it's to change even the spider look on him.
Yeah.
To have those 3 games and then
Monster Hunter World.
Monster Hunter World was a great.
Celeste, to have some of these phenomenal behemoths.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I didn't play, but it looked all right. It looked like it looked different than an Assassin's Creed game. It did look slightly. So for those two to come out, I mean, any other year they sweep it.
My question to you though is because you and me are kind of in the same boat with these two games. That they shouldn't be nominated because they came out in November.
No, it's a cut.
Cutoff date like October.
You said, what is if October's the cutoff? Now that's an interesting thing too, though.
Yeah, because now what if Red Dead 2 and God of War came out November last year?
Yeah, exactly.
What would you have done? Would those be nominated? JJ and I think. Well, I think personally, this is going to be a weird award show. I think it's going to be super weird. Nominees are going to be all over.
They don't tell us anything. I don't know the official cutoff date for them. And yes, I think Red Dead and God of War would have both been nominated. I don't think Monster Hunter World would have been. I think RE2 would have been in that place. But, who do you have winning? I still think God of War is the best game of this decade.
If God of War came out this year, it easily wins.
Yeah.
Hands down, easily wins. It trumps all the games here.
Again, timing is everything.
We're not shitting on this year's games because this year's games are phenomenal. A lot of people that thinks this year's really bad, but no, it's been a phenomenal year of video games.
I said this before and I'll say it again. I think this year, top to bottom, is a deeper year than last year. I just think the top last year was...
You just knew it was between those two, yeah.
It was generational. Those were 2 of the best games of the generation. And they came out the same year. And then you also throw in a Spider-Man and a Celeste. I think Spider-Man, if Spider-Man comes out in November, it gets nominated this year. I don't know if it beats RE2, but it's right there with it. That's a 2-horse race to me.
So many people have told me that's their game of the year last year was Spider-Man. And I keep comparing Spider-Man, and this is not to shit on Spider-Man or anything like that, because I'm biased as hell with Spider. It's my favorite Marvel character. Him and Wolverine are my 2 favorite characters of all time. So if I can objectively say this, I don't mean this in criticism or anything, but Spider-Man 1, Marvel Spider-Man here, is very much like Uncharted 1. It's just a stepping stone. 2 is going to be so much better. It's going to blow everybody's dick out of the water. It's going to blow people's minds. It's going to be a huge contender for Game of the Year when it drops. Mark my words, it's going to be 2 years from now But mark my words, I think it will be a game of the year. I see it being like Uncharted 2, a bigger stepping stone, more power, more things to do. Because I had issues with the game. There's still problems with Spider-Man 1. It
the
wasn't the
DLC,
story. It was more
the
of the
DL,
gameplay.
the DLC felt empty to me. It wasn't that.
Yeah, it's.
Going back
I
looking at
thought
it,
the
it wasn't.
DLC was going to be bigger, and it wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't as great. But I
Still,
like
Black
what
Cat though.
I like
Black
what
Cat.
Brian, what is it, Brian Ithar said is, if I'm going to put stuff in the game, I'm going to put it in a, you don't just throw out the black costume Spider-Man. You don't just make it.
They're leaning towards the next one for sure.
Yeah, you gotta make it something.
That's not just a skin. That's going to be a playable thing.
Yeah, that's got to be a story tick. That's an interesting conversation. If the cutoff date is October 31st or November 1st, is Death Stranding?
I'll make one thing. I'll let you continue, but I apologize for that as well. Sorry about that. They did push the Game Awards a week back.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that alludes to what you said. Go ahead.
Because, well, let's say RE2 does win, in a hypothetical world. So that was a January release, and it still stayed on everyone's mind and still won.
For the whole year, yeah.
Yeah. Red Dead came out in October.
Yeah.
God of War came out in April.
Yeah.
And still stayed on top.
Stayed on top of everybody's mind since April.
So it's not necessarily whatever is the freshest.
Yeah.
I think RE2 still beats Death Stranding if Death Stranding is nominated. I still think it does. To me, it's just it's a better video game. Just top to T to B, baby. T to B. Better video game. But that's an interesting conversation for what comes out next year. Is Death Stranding stay on the top? When does Breath of the Wild?
Let's make this, because this one award show is not like the Game of the Year of all the Game of the Years. Like I just said, RE2 just won the Ultimate Joystick Award. They've been doing that show for, like JJ said, for like 36 years. For a long time.
This is kind of like...
there's going to be the DICE Awards. There's going to be the European Awards. There's going to be a lot of awards. Death Stranding will probably win a bunch of Game of the Years somewhere else.
I think it's...
the same thing with Borderlands. Borderlands might win a couple Game of the Years somewhere else. You never know.
I think this is America's, Super Bowl.
This is what we're tuning into. This is what we really cover on the channel.
Jeff Keighley's done a great job. He's a big advocate for the gaming industry, and he's done a great job. I mean, last year he had all three of the major contender, or Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo all on stage together. So,
what's up, Donkey? I agree with you. Pong is Game of the Year. Donkey said Pong is Game of the Year. I agree with him.
1972's Game of the Year. I'll agree with that. Revolutionary.
Revolutionary game there, Donkey.
Yeah.
Donkey, buddy.
But it's something that we need to get back to, is gaming shouldn't be exclusive.
Also, to make this clear, we didn't play Fallen Order yet. This is just what I've seen, and
no.
Are great.
And we will play it.
Yeah, we will for sure.
I just haven't got it yet. I tried to talk Becky into getting it tonight, but I still got Death Stranding to play and all kinds of...
Yeah, Death Stranding is going to take a while, man.
I was trying not to mix too many stories at once.
Yeah, that was my biggest problem when I was younger. I would play like 3 or 4 games at the same time. Play basically 1 or 2 games at the same time, and usually not have them story-driven. Play like one sports game and then one...
That's what I
usually do. I play 2K and then I play Death Stranding.
I'll play Death Stranding, and I might play some Ghostbusters because the story, I'm just trying to get some trophies. It's just a going through the motions kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the nominees. I'm looking forward to what their cutoff date is, because if their cutoff date is last Friday?
Do you agree, though, if Death Stranding's on there?
If it's on there, or do I think it's going to be on there?
No. Do you agree if it is put on there for gaming? Do you agree with what happens? Because it came out in November.
It's tough. I mean, if I'm being completely honest with you, if I'm Keighley, I move this award show to January. You get all 12 months in, you do it in January. So everything that came out in 2019 is qualified.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it in the middle of the year, it's hard to,
Honestly,
say, hey.
December's a really good date. You know why? Because it really sets up the next year. And what has Jeff Keighley turned the award show into? One of the best shows of the year because he gets all the big announcements now.
Yeah, it's what E3 used to be.
Yeah, E3, like this year, I was expecting Microsoft to bring it, and they were like, "No, we ain't showing anything." Their whole show leaked before it came out anyway.
I mean, it's next year's got some. Doom looks good.
Next year's buzz is going to be. Next year's Game of the Year is going to be a much bigger discussion because there's so much more games next year.
We'll see what Avengers does, but
Avengers.
I don't.
Final Fantasy VII remake. There's so many other things.
Well, that's the thing is
Doom.
if RE2 wins, it sets a precedent for Final Fantasy VII. Now,
well, what's the one thing Final Fantasy VII lacks, though?
It's going to be episodic.
That's right. It's not going to be a complete Cloud, Barrett, Tifa, so forth. That's not a complete story.
No, it's an episode. It's huge.
I still agree with the nod if it's good enough because I get RE2 vibes from this. It's so fresh. It's so new. It's a new take on it. The story's not going to be the same. They're adding so much more details to it. But that's the one thing that would hold it back from me giving it a Game of the Year is that this is not an end. And this is what I want to tell Square Enix right now. I don't want this bullshit. I don't want this game to end at the end of Midgar and then you show me a trailer for part 2. Do not do that. Let the game end so people can sit and think about it. And be like, all right, this is why. Do not end this game with a trailer for the next game. Do not do that. That would be horrendous in my opinion.
That's if Telltale makes it.
Yeah. And episodic's a really tough word because that's the wrong word. Because it's more like Final Fantasy 13. There's going to be 3 parts to the story.
Well,
each game's going to be like 40 to 50 hours long. It's going to be long.
It's like chapter based.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a 3-chapter book, but every chapter's
I don't want people to think like this is a book. And I ripped all the pages out. I'm not giving you the pages, but like it kind of is like that, and it kind of isn't at the same time. It's more that if you played the original Final Fantasy VII and how big that game is,
so long.
They'd still be working on that game for like 8 more years because it'd be that long.
Yeah.
And this is the logic. I'm gonna call Steve out one thing. Like, I love you, Steve, Angry Steve, Spice Bro for life. I'm gonna call you out on this though. This is his logic that he goes, it's an incomplete game. I'm going to wait till all 3 are out. So I'm like, you're going to wait 6 years to play 200 hours worth of a game.
Yeah.
You barely finish one game now. Go get the game and play it.
To be honest with you, for those massive games, this makes sense. Like it's not, it's a good idea. Hey, we'll give you the chunk we've done now. We'll end it off with a nice little bow to lead you into the next chunk.
No trailer.
And
I don't know. I find that so hokey if they did that shit, man. If they did that.
I don't know if they have to.
Like RE2 remake didn't end with RE3 remake trailer.
Yeah.
Because we know it's coming. Like we're not dumb. We know it's coming.
Well,
it's better to sit and think about it and be like, damn, we know it's coming.
They kind of half-assed already announced it too.
Yeah,
for sure. Capcom's already said they're making RE3. Is it RE8's coming out before RE3?
After. The report is they're both working on both those games because Capcom's huge, guys. It's not a small studio by any means. But RE3 comes out first and RE8. But I think they're going to sneak a Dino Crisis in there somewhere. Dreaming. Put a Dino Crisis in there.
How many... So this is my thing for subscribers because I don't have a lot of money. So if every one of our subscribers donates $3 to me, I will be able to get my Ninja Turtle cabinet for Christmas.
That's right.
It's on sale for $350. It's on sale for $350 on Black Friday.
It's crazy how expensive that was. When you told me how the price of it, I was like, damn, really?
Yeah.
I know it's a 4-player cabinet, that's why it's pricey.
It's only
The
two
actual
games though.
cabinet would be way more expensive if you found it in real life.
They don't have Turtles in Time, but they have the original arcade Funset Boulevard in Appleton.
Yeah.
It's like an arcade / movie theater / bowling alley / batting cages.
Sounds fun.
/ putt putt.
Sounds fun. Sounds dope.
It's the only ultra screen in northeastern Wisconsin. Like it's one of those, not quite IMAX, but
you know what you need to do? I forgot where it's at. I saw this at the Angry Video Game Nerds channel. There's a drive-in theater that plays like old school movies.
Mm-hmm.
Next time they play Ninja Turtles, you and me have to somehow meet up and get there and drive, and let's go watch Ninja Turtles 1 and 2 in a drive-in theater.
Well, this is what
it's called. I gotta look it up again and send it to you because they don't do it often. They play different movies, old school movies.
This is what I want you to do. I want you to fly up to Wisconsin on December 19th.
For your birthday.
Hang out with me and Jacob for a weekend, and then you can fly back on.
I wish I could, man.
It'd be dope. Because Jacob's flying up on the 19th, and just hang out and get fucking hammered.
I know, just hang out. If you know who that is, that's Jacob's little bro. He's a beast at Fortnite. He's way bigger than us.
He's a beast. He's probably a beast on the new Call of Duty. That's another game on it. It's another game we didn't mention.
Duty might get nominated too, man.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough.
I heard the campaign's great. I think that did fairly good Metacritic wise.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a really tough. It's a tougher year than most people make it out to be.
I think there's two reasons for that. There's a lot of good games, but there's not really that upper echelon gamer like that's like RE2 is close, but it's still kind of down here with this other stuff. But like you said, it's the best game this year. It's no doubt.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely give it best year. My favorite game might end up actually being Death Stranding once I finish it. It's definitely in my top 5 this year for sure.
Well, it's another one of those storytelling games that sometimes walk into places seems dumb, but it's not. Like it truly, I couldn't when I first saw it. There's no fucking way I'm gonna like this.
Wait till you start getting bikes in the roads. And
I got the roads.
Guns now. It's really cool.
I got one of those the bolo gun that shoots
I love that gun. It's dope.
That gun's fucking dope.
Slight spoiler, you get real gun. You get real.
Oh yeah, I'm assuming you do.
You get real.
I saw some game, but yeah, the story's great. The
ending to episode 3 is beautiful too. Like it's. Really
I just went to the wind, or the farm, not the wind farm. What is it? The
weather station.
Yeah. Well, no, I did the weather station, but I went down to the farm and got the beer.
Wheat farm.
Yeah. So I did that. That's where I'm at right now.
Okay, you got a few more. You're getting close. But anything else you want to talk about? Did you want to talk about Disney Plus really quick, or do you want to hop on and do NHL?
I don't know. I don't know if we might be able to do a tournament or two. I probably can't stay on.
Yeah, we won't stream long, maybe like an hour.
I do want to plug something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
My son was in a music video.
Oh yes, I saw it. You were also in that music video.
I was in it.
And JJ, you need to lose some weight, my friend.
Yes, I do. I was in a scene or two, but I think it's Our Last Vision. The name of the song is called Lights.
I will. I'll find the link, guys, and I'll put it in the video.
Just go. If everyone here goes to watch it just once, and you don't even have to watch the whole thing, but just go check it out. My son's obviously the little guy. If you look closely, there's a picture of him by his little. But there's a picture of him. He's wearing a Lions hat, so I'm very proud of him. But if everyone goes there, drives up the
jersey too.
Yeah, well, he's wearing his Punisher's jersey from his football team. But if everyone goes over there and watches it, drives up the likes, he'll get paid. So if I can get everyone in the Golden God Legion to go over there and drive up likes on this, Seth will make a little more money.
I'll link it down below. Definitely plug it. Go check that band out. Appreciate all you guys and gals. Everybody that said what up.
Has more popcorn.
Sweet Pig Fat, Donkey.
Hey, Feed your dog.
Jen and Shannon, shout out to all of you. Thanks for watching this episode. I want to know down below though is what personally, A, what's your game of the year, and B, does Death Stranding and Star Wars Fallen Order make it? Is there a cutoff date for it? Also, I want you to smash the hell out of the like button. Definitely share this video. Definitely comment down below, and definitely follow our Twitch down below. JJ and I might do one quick tournament or two. We might do a quick hour stream.
Also, like he said, hit the like button. If everyone who watches it just hits the like button, let's just see what it does to the algorithm. Let's just see how it affects what happens.
Yeah.
Let's just see everyone. If you like us, if you like what we talked about, if you hate us, who gives a hit the dislike button. I don't care. Just hit one of the buttons.
Really appreciate you guys. You guys
let's see what happens.
Show out. You guys, watch the vids. The quality will get better. I definitely will get better lighting and stuff. It's in the works. I'm getting a green screen, a lot of stuff, but I kind of wanted to flex a little bit, so I might get an iPhone and just be a jerk. Spend all my money on that. But things are coming up. We're going to have more games on the channel. JJ and I just wanted to do this podcast because we thought it was an interesting conversation, and there was a lot of great highlights today, man. RE2 already taking home an award. A lot of great stuff coming to Game Pass. Anthem possibly getting fixed and hopefully playable for a lot of people. But definitely comment down below, hit that like button for us. We would really appreciate it. Your fellow Strauss man, the GG, and JJ. We're out of here.
Peace.